Mr. Spock.
Remember, Dad, I love him!
Who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
The Tortured Poets Department reeks of the tortured artist phenomenon. In fact, the very first lyric of the album, "I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic," is a literary reference to infamous poets like Hemingway, Dylan Thomas, Edgar Allan Poe, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and so many others who followed the notorious writer's tradition of suffering and resultantly drinking and writing poetry. For a writer, this activity of drinking and booze and champagne is seen as an esoteric idiosyncrasy and ascetic rather than as the self-destructive behavior that it actually is. But more importantly, the artist who arguably stands out the most in the entire album is Sylvia Plath, especially in the music video, which seems to be a subtle, eerie documentation of her poetically tragic life. Plath had undergone multiple electric shock treatments in the hopes of curing her depression. She recounts this bone-chilling experience that wrung her hollow and lifeless in her autobiographical book, The Bell Jar, writing, "Then something bent down and took hold of me and shook me like the end of the world. It shrilled through an air crackling with blue light, and with each flash a great jolt drubbed me till I thought my bones would break and the sap fly out of me like a split plant. I wondered what terrible thing it was I had done." The music video gives us a glimpse into this appalling experience. Plath also married an infamous poet, Ted Hughes. Both fell in love in rhyme and meter, syntax and verse. They were counterparts to their creative endeavors, a sentiment Taylor resounds in another reference to Patti Smith, singing, "You're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith, we're modern idiots. And we wondered of the time I was away stitching, we were just kids, babe." The mention of just kids is not accidental and frivolous. The memoir recounts the lives of two artists, Patti and Robert Mapplethorpe, living off of paintbrushes and ink pens in New York and the Chelsea Hotel. Both these relationships fall parallel to her relationship with Joe Alwyn, with whom she released 2 albums, Folklore and Evermore. But the haunting chorus begins when Taylor sings about the miracle move-on drug and takes pills to forget him in the music video, under the persistent background humming, "I love you, it's ruining my life." It all crescendos into the core meaning of the album and what Sylvia Plath went through, the enchanting anguish of memory. This is reminiscent of the movie The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where an impulsive woman, Clementine, decides to undergo the miraculous procedure of having her memory erased after a fight with her boyfriend. But why would you want to remove a beloved's memory tattooed into the very fissures of your mind? Because in certain cases, a human memory is a knife spiked into flesh, so corrosive it infiltrates your sense of singularity, debilitating sanity and selfhood until you walk rooms that have no dimensions. The chairs are upside down, reason is off kilter, logic is jagged. You're floating in the nonsensical room of memory that no Newtonian law can intervene. There is only the mind rendered so berserk over the mere existence of a human that there are a menace to society and have to be chained until finally you take the miracle move-on drug to be in the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Ted Hughes later cheated on Sylvia Plath, leading to her eventual spiral into madness and death. The music video might be alluding to a phone call from Ted's mistress to Plath, which nailed a lasting blow to the coffin of her marriage with Hughes. After Sylvia's death, he burned her diary and writings to remove any evidence of his guilt and crime. And yet still, 2 months before her death, Plath locked herself in a room and wrote her magnum opus. This is reminiscent of Taylor Swift. She wrote 32 songs, not for the whole world, but for herself.